Okay, so let's get started. Good morning.
Good morning.
And we got Cheryl with us from Nerium Products, and we're going to be talking about our 4 different components that we talk about with the Bluinium system and how it relates to your business, and 4 important things that we want to point out to help small business. So let's get started. Okay, so first of all, content management system, and we were talking earlier about what you have as far as a content management system or how that works. Basically, when somebody's interested in the product that you have, what they're able to do is go online, purchase it, and then you're able to see how many bottles or
Correct.
whatever they do, right?
Right.
So that's content management. You got to pay attention to it. Now, another side of that would be if you were in a factory or you were manufacturing something, that it would be like, I have 700 crates of these screw boxes in the back or whatever, and they need to be moved.
Mm-hmm.
So content management is also, hey, I need to get rid of those, and why have we not sold them? Or they needed to be moved, but we look on a piece of paper and they haven't been moved. Years ago, it always was funny to me that in these sci-fi movies, they have these big, massive computers that are and it's really super smart. Yeah, but then there's always the guy that's got the clipboard, and he's looking at the data, going, okay, this super smart computer has got this information, but then there's got to be a super smart guy who goes, oh, I see the data, I better write that down. Wow. I'm probably the only one that ever thought that was kind of comical, but anyway, so that's content management.
Okay.
So we're going to talk about 4 things. There's 4 things that are very important to your business and your life when it comes to the business world. And there could be lots of things, but these 4 things have to do with data. And basically, content management, the customer relationship, which is your customer relational management system, your serviceable addressable market, which is right outside your doorstep, and then the tangible addressable market, and she's writing that down, that's good. The tangible addressable market, which is your kind of your dream. You haven't reached it, but if you were going to reach it, how would you get there? Okay?
Okay.
So let's just talk about Bluinium and how it plays a part of all of those. And basically, the content management system, we started taking a look at how do we help you. This is with your website, because we're a website development company. And we wanted to work on a way to connect everybody that goes to your website to you. Now, do we really do that? We don't really do that at this time. However, as time goes by and more people know about the 3D, you're going to find that it's going to be easier and easier to see those people who are coming from that demographic area, okay? And that's just, we know that. It's like any product, something's new, they don't know about you, and so forth.
Right.
Anyway, the point is that what we wanted to do is help you with that assistance. Currently, the national average is about 2.5% of the people that go to your website actually turn into a live communication. An example of that would be the phone, an email, a text. Somehow you are contacting them.
Okay.
And actually, it's a little bit more than that. It's not just like a text where you receive a text from someone. It's actually that you actually can communicate to them.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? Okay.
Sure.
So we found that 3D is so cool, and it's just going to keep getting neater. We think it is. It's going to be here to stay.
Mm-hmm. That
what we found when we wanted to get 2.5 or 3%, that we're actually running about 30% of the people that go to your website see the thing that says "See us in 3D." They click on it, and right now they have to try to install it. Sure, there's problems with older versions of Windows XP, which is no longer going to be supported.
Right.
But the one thing we have done is assist you in an area that you can't even assist yourself.
Okay.
Because right now, if 1,000 people were to go to your website, you would not have any way of knowing that other than they went to the website, this is how many times they were there, how long they were there, and that is all super valuable.
Uh-huh.
But what we're trying to show here is that some people come back many times. And so by putting them in 3D, we give them an ability to automatically change the experience in real time.
Mm-hmm.
So based upon their historical data or their historical experience last time, we can segment that user into a profile, saying, I'm a teenager and I really like this product because I want the skin wash. I don't even know what I'm talking about here. Play along.
That's correct.
Okay, I don't want to pretend to know about the product line, but I know it's a great company. But basically what happens is when they come to the website, they would interact with that. So they're already doing this anyway with a 2D website. The only difference is that when they click on it in 3D, that experience can immediately change into an experience they enjoy, which we want to create an emotional footprint.
Absolutely.
These are a lot of big words or whatever they are.
I'm with you.
Okay, so what we did was we said, hey, how can we do that to help Nerium, right? So we take a look at your content management system that you already have with Nerium. We don't touch that.
Right.
What we're doing is we're assisting with you on helping on the front line. I guess the best way to say it is a search engine. Some of the bigger names that you have heard of would be your Googles, Yahoos, and Bings,
right.
and they're great companies. And no matter how much energy and you can spend money to advertise to try to get more traffic, but at the end of the day, when they come to your site, how are you handling them? So it's not just a viewer, a hit, it's are we turning them into a sale, correct?
Correct.
So content management is about understanding who's buying which bottles and why that's important, okay? And so what we've done is we're trying to connect everybody to you in real time. Meaning if they come back to your website for a second time, they haven't purchased a bottle, but they've come back a second time, how important would it be for you, in your mind, for you to be connected to that person in real time?
Very important.
So what we've done is we've figured out a way that we historically store it the first time, and then it goes to your phone if somebody comes back. It even shows you what they clicked on, why they clicked on it, what they're interested in, and how many times before they've been back.
Okay.
So we're going to show that to you in a minute.
Great.
But that's your content management.
Okay.
So that's what plays a part of that. The second thing is the relationship. How important to you in this business are your relationships that you have with the people that get involved with your product?
Very.
Some it's not. I mean, if it's not, doesn't apply to every business, but the businesses that where it really is important, which I would like to think that in our country, okay, that we believe in building a relationship and certain businesses that are out there that are more of a social atmosphere are very good. But if I'm looking at doing business with a big company, I might look at that and see all the people that work there, and I can base my decision upon what I saw on a social network, right?
Right.
Nothing wrong with that if it's a social network, but if I'm the owner of that business and I'm trying to make sure that we hold a good reputation, I would now have to try to figure out a way to make sure that on a corporate level that stays very contained. So that creates new types of problems, so to speak. But anyway, the point is that under a relationship, it's very important to build a very strong relationship. So let's talk about how that applies with the 4 things. Number 2, this is the second piece, the content relational management. And that is, if they've never been to my site before, they would need a certain experience when they get there. They should hear about, hi, I'm Cheryl with Nerium. I've been using this product. I'm not going to advertise for you here, but others, and maybe these are the things that, I don't know, that would be the first thing I would do.
Okay.
That's the experience they should have. Because if they don't understand the product, then it's going to be very hard for you to convince them to be a long-term customer.
I need to educate them.
That's correct. I would believe that.
Okay.
So we call this, they don't know who you are on the stair step, and then they know who you are, which is a different experience, right? And then they use your product, which is a different experience. And then for a long term or a term of time, they will use your product, but eventually they're going to drop off. Now, that's kind of stair-step marketing 101, right?
Right.
But what we did here is we said, well, how can we help you with historical information in the data format that's going to be usable, and how do we relate that to your business and use our system to do that? So what we've done is we've created a virtual way, and our decision was to use a 3D. Why 3D? Because if you're 80 years old, what we found in this process is that an individual that's over, well, if you're over 50, are you a little more challenged on the computer in general? Theoretically, you haven't set up your emails, you don't know how to do the routers, you don't know the IP addresses. Okay, some of the stuff that they're teaching, it's going to be a little more challenging. And so if you're 80 years old, right, and you're probably thinking, well, not many people are 80 years old. Well, we have a client that's 80 years old and loves our system. In fact, if you go onto his room, he is on the phone right now. And he loves it because instead of doing a lot of typing and trying to figure out the web pages, that new web page is now immersed in a three-dimensional space.
Right.
So you walk in the room and you're in 3D, and you could say something to the screen and the whole screen would change like a video game, but the experience changes in real time. That's what we can now do with 3D. So we can also create a historical footprint, and so we basically are creating a neat level. How neat is your system? We believe that's really important. We believe that at Bluinium that tomorrow's future is going to be also based on new generation of business based upon how neat they are and how interactive they are, how proactive they are. So we're seeing that a 3D interactiveness has increased it by a dramatic percentage. People will go to Nerium, they'll see that you have 3D, they click on it, and now they're in a three-dimensional space, which is not connected to the Nerium's main center. It's your own personal room, but it gives you a way to connect to that person live and interactive.
Mm-hmm.
So they create emotional leads, a real-time footprint that can be passed and saved. So that's what the customer relationship does for your system. Excuse me, the serviceable addressable market is basically how many people that live, you travel around and you do seminars and things to talk. So in Springfield area, this works really good for if you have a solid business and an office, and you would say, well, right outside of my door. So you have to put this into your perspective of like, what would the service addressable market be for you? An example would be from your house or from where you normally do a presentation or a seminar, where you would go X amount of feet, there are businesses, they don't know who you are. Mm-hmm. So what we want to do is historically put that data into the system. And so what happens is, an example would be like at the Saviello's is a chef, Lori Saviello, and what she has is a really neat sandwich. She's like, well, I don't like serving it because I don't make a lot of money on it, but right outside her doorstep, the businesses that are right around her business, it's actually good to do that because it creates energy and it's serviceable. It's right here at your feet. So the next thing we want to start doing is we want to say, sure, you've got content, which means these are the people you're entering in your system. These are the people that you're calling, right? These are the people that you have relationships with now. Mm-hmm. Gotta have relationships with them. They don't know who you are. They become. They're with you for time. And then this is the area that you want to service. So you got to know that. And you got to know this is the people that need to know about my product and what it costs. The other one would be the tangible market, meaning you haven't actually got your hands on it, but within reason, I want the whole United States. No. Within reason, all of Springfield, Missouri. Or within reason, the Midwest. Make sense? Mm-hmm. And so historical data gives us that. So it doesn't really matter how we dump information in. We'd be using our social network like the Facebook. We'd be using their social network like a LinkedIn. We'd be using our social network like our Skypes. It doesn't really matter how we do it, right? Mm-hmm. But we've got to dump data into an engine. When we dump that stuff, no matter video, no matter radio, newspapers, it's all great stuff. But what's great is when they come to your website, you now have a way to historically store who they are and what they did and what their likes are. And then if you can break them up into different segments of users, right, that makes sense to you. Mm-hmm. See, that is controlling your content. That is controlling your destiny. True?
Right.
It really is. So the 3D components are going to help you do that in Bluinium. That's going to give you historical data, which creates more sales. Now, we like to also think that it changes over time, where this week you could actually just do presentations. A good example would be if some school, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but if somebody out there said, hey, you could come speak for the solution to help kids with their acne, right, as an example. I don't know if that's possible, but if there is a solution to that and you wanted to speak in front of a crowd of people, then that would be a certain demographic individuals. So on your 3D-dimensional website, you would have one of the photographs that are in that room that would be explaining that, would be told to all of them. So make them come back and click that, because now you've got their who they are, what they're doing, and that kind of stuff. So basically that's the 4 components that make up your system. I always like to talk about the content management system and how optimized your system, how optimized your website is, because that gives you the market placement value. And that's the entire engine of Bluinium. Thank you for your time, and we'll be getting back with you on more help. Have a good day.